guys, I've got a Spiegel catalog here in front of me. I believe this is, pardon the glare, I'm going to move to some better light in just a minute. But this is from the year 1953. This is a fall catalog. And just to give you a brief history about Spiegel, the Spiegel catalog was founded in 1865 by Joseph Spiegel. Sorry. Aren't those beautiful pictures, beautiful fashions? It began as a furniture store business before transitioning into a popular mail order catalog in 1905. It served middle-class Americans, offering fashion and home goods and pioneering credit plans to make shopping accessible. Though it was a leader in catalog retail for much of the 20th century, Spiegel faced bankruptcy in the 2000s, and the brand has largely disappeared from the market today. So I'm not even sure if it's still around, but it was very popular in the 20th century. You know, just times change, and some of the big businesses like Sears, I think Sears has completely gone out of business, or maybe there's still a few stores standing, I'm not sure, but like Kmart, you know, they eventually run their course. You know, it seems like they're going to be around forever, but you know, I guess nothing lasts forever. And the same can be said for Spiegel. But anyway, this is a beautiful catalog, so let's just take a quick look at this catalog and see what they have to offer, what they had to offer in 1953. That kind of looks like Elizabeth Taylor, doesn't it? Not, I mean, there's some similarity there, but not exactly. Okay, so I've moved to a place where there's better light. This is, well, natural sunlight, so that there's no glare on the pages. So this is the cover. Fall and Winter 1953. And of course, on the very first pages, you're going to see these beautiful women's fashions. And I guess that's because women, adult women, were the people who cared about this kind of thing the most. So of course they're going to put fashions for women on the first pages. That just makes sense to me. It's a beautiful ensemble. The coat, the sleeveless dress, the hat, it's just gorgeous. I love these fall earthy colors. Now this is what I think of as 1950s fashions. And if you check out my channel, I recently uploaded another video where I go through a Walter Field catalog that was from the mid-1950s. Now compare those fashions to these fashions and tell me which ones you think were more tasteful and which ones were the better quality. And it still has this letter to the customer that's intact. Spiegel quality is high. It's the prices that are low. You know, I've ordered from Spiegel a few times in my life. When I was a kid, my dad ordered a couple things from Spiegel for me. And I did a couple times as an adult. They had some nice stuff, for sure. I don't know if the quality was better during the mid-20th century versus the late 20th century, I'm not sure. But everything here looks gorgeous. So this is corduroy fabric. I'm guessing that this dress, this jumper dress, and the suit perhaps are made of corduroy. I'm not going to bother to read the fine print. And actually, it looks like a page is missing. Now that I look. That's okay. That's to be expected for something this old. So there's gloves, a handbag, and some high-heeled pumps. That was like standard. This was standard attire for women back then. They mostly wore pumps if they could walk in them. Older women, I guess, wore more comfortable shoes, though not very attractive shoes, but you know, if you couldn't walk in them, there was no point in trying. Just wear what you could walk in, I guess. Those are some beautiful dresses. Now, the look back then was to have an hourglass figure with a small waist. And back then they wore girdles and things to help them achieve this look, and belts to help cinch in the waist, or to give it the illusion of having a small waist. Got some beautiful winter coats. That's gorgeous. I'm guessing that the quality was pretty good. So this coat was $29.98. I don't know if that would have been expensive back then, but I mean, you can get a cheap coat for that much today. You can't get a nice coat for that much. That's beautiful. That's like a swing coat. And short hair was very much in vogue, in fashion for women during this time, and for girls too. Very few women wore their hair long, and the same goes for young girls. All females, or most of them, had short hair. So here they have blend of wool and cashmere. Fabulous fabrics, elegantly styled. I apologize for the background noise, but my daughter's watching something. So these coats are made of fleece here. There's a pink one. Beautiful. New textured wools. And this says poodle cloth. I don't know what that means. Luxurious texture, bright nubby, 100% wool. Okay, beautiful stuff here. You can see why Spiegel was popular. Okay, let's turn the page. Maybe we need to skip past the coats now because we don't want to spend too much time. Okay, I had to pause here. Of course, they used beautiful slender models, but I love how the way they looked wasn't too sexy. It was beautiful, elegant, and it made you feel like, you know, this was appropriate really for any age, not just for young women. Very, very elegant. There's a lot to go over. I mean, I'm not going to go over everything. I'm going to pause at what I think is the most interesting. Of course, I'm probably going to miss a lot of stuff, but I just don't have the time, and I know you guys don't want to sit through a long video. This says reversibles, so you could reverse these coats, I'm guessing. If you want to take a longer look, please pause the video. Okay, let's move into the dresses. Just very typical 1950s stuff. Look at those pockets. And there's the cinched waist again, the wide belt. It's beautiful. There's a peplum dress again, a peplum jacket, suit. I bet women had a field day looking at this stuff back then and daydreaming about what they could buy and how they would look in it. Oh wow, so pretty. New date makers. Okay, so this is for getting dressed up and going out. People dressed more formal back then. And you had different outfits that were appropriate for different occasions and different times of the day. And as I've mentioned before, conformity was so important to people back then. Wow, just look at that, gorgeous. You know, I have long hair. I'm sure if you've watched any of my videos and seen me, you probably noticed that I have long hair. And I love my long hair, but sometimes I'm tempted to get it cut into a shorter style. Maybe one day I will, but not now. Oh, wow, beautiful. I mean, it's just so cute, novelty. I think I'm just going to, I don't know, stick to the women's and girls' fashions with this video because it's just going to take so long to go through everything. I'm immediately drawn to this one because it's got an interesting pocket. Okay, that one's got an inverted pleat there in the front. There's some peplum jacket. Wrinkle Shed, New DM River Cottons. Okay, these look like fun. These are like casual, really casual styles for like wearing around the house, doing, I don't know, you're shopping at the grocery store, picking up the kids from school. I don't know if people would wear that outside or not. That looks very, very casual. That looks like, see, they even got dressed up like this just to do the housework and to cook. It's just how you're expected to look, you know, women didn't slop around the house wearing cut-off jeans or sweatpants or, you know, tank tops, I mean, with no undergarments underneath. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that you wouldn't have seen that back in the 1950s. It just didn't happen. Fruit of the Loom cotton. So Fruit of the Loom made more than just underwear back then? I didn't know that. Proportioned. Tall, medium, and petite. Okay, here we have some of the, what they call the value hits. And some of these styles look like they are for more mature ladies. Can't leave them out. I mean, I'm not saying not necessarily, but some of them do. $2.98 back then, so I guess that was cheap back then. I mean, of course it is now, but I don't know what that would have been comparable to back then. Cheerful cottons. Let's just keep moving on. These are maternity fashions. So this is how pregnant women dressed back then. Beautiful clothing. But today you don't see maternity fashions in a lot of woven styles. You're using woven fabrics, you mostly just see knits for maternity fashions. Let's move on to women's lingerie and accessories. So this is, I just had to pause here because it's a color illustration. Lovable, nationally famous bras. So the bullet bras were popular in the 1950s. I guess that's what these are. They kind of look that way. They're being pointy. Sorry for saying that, but yeah, that's what that looks like to me. And of course, women wore girdles and shapers, light control. I'm kind of skipping over some stuff here. These are night robes. Makes me think of the movie Grease, when the girls are at their slumber party. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that movie. Let's see, did I miss anything? It says TV glamour show-offs. I guess that's what that means, is that in the evenings, after dinner, just before bedtime, the family would gather around the TV and watch TV together. And the mom and the kids would be dressed for bed already, and the dad too. I guess that's what that means. And of course, slips were like very important. Women wore all kinds of undergarments back then. I love this picture of mother and daughter checkmates. Raincoats. Okay. It's hard to turn the pages. They're stuck together. Let's just take a quick look at the accessories. Of course, women still wore hats back then, though not as much as they did in the 40s and before that, the 30s, the 20s, and so on. And gloves. Gloves were another accessory that a lot of women used. Handbags. Can any of you guys tell me why people are so nostalgic for the 1950s? Does anybody know? What is it that attracts you to the 1950s, or for those who love that decade? Is it the fashions? You can write your thoughts down in the comment section. We've got some nice shoes. Now compare this stuff to the clothing that was in the Walter Field catalog. I uploaded that catalog not too long ago. A video of myself going through that catalog. So compare those fashions with the ones you see here and tell me which mail order company had better stuff. I don't mean to insult anyone who ordered from Spiegel or Walter Field. I'm sure both places had good stuff, but I just want to know your thoughts. Okay. So they actually had more variety in shoes than I previously thought. And back then, just like with Montgomery Ward's and Sears and JCPenney's, they also sold fabric for women who could sew and who wanted to sew and make their own clothing or clothing for their families. Let's go over the girls' fashions real quick. So it was similar to ladies' fashions, adult fashions, but obviously more youthful. And of course, girls dressed in a formal way, just like adult women did. Just coats for girls. I guess these would be young teenagers or tweens, early teens, preteens. Switch about. Maybe that's reversible. I know that women wore pants back then, but not for every day. Definitely not to wear to school or to work if they did work. And back then, women, if they did work at all, it was usually in jobs like being a secretary or a telephone operator, teacher, retail store, that kind of thing. So of course, circle skirts were all the rage back in the 1950s. It's getting darker and darker here. I have to stop recording soon. Color illustrations. It's beautiful. Of course, there's a varsity look. I think that was a popular look back then. Having a cardigan sweater with a, wearing that with a circle skirt, that was a popular look. Love the pockets on that. It happens. Pages are kind of fragile. One of them just ripped a little bit, and there's coats that girls wore. Really, really nice stuff. So this is clothing for middle class back then. Okay, I'm not going to go into the boys' fashions and the men's fashions right now. I don't know if I'm going to make a catalog about that. I don't know if I will get as many views if I do, because it's usually women that tend to be more interested in this kind of thing. Okay, I guess that completes our little trip down memory lane. Whatever you order, the quality is guaranteed. Spiegel quality is high. It's the prices that are low. Nice. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already done so, because I do plan to upload more great content in the future.